Hey fam, welcome to Relationship Realities, hosted by yours truly, Texas Brown Sugar. This is the space where we dig deep, laugh hard, and get real about what it takes to build strong, healthy marriages. From video reactions to candid chats, we're all about sparking those aha moments and stirring up conversations that matter. So grab your favorite snack, drink, and get comfy. Let's dive in and make those relationship dreams reality. Now, don't forget each of the content that I present. I encourage you to visit the creators, I can't speak today, the creators page. I'm going to have the links in the description. Make sure you support them. First up, I came across this video on Instagram. I thought it was very interesting. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions. And this young lady is trying to dispel those lies. Yeah, the fake news that people put out there. Let's take a look at it.
Y'all are so quick to say
Marriage is a partnership, not a dictatorship.
marriage has a hierarchy. It should be God leading the husband who leads the wife. The husband has a separate role, the wife has a separate role. They're both equal in importance, but different in function. God told Adam, do not eat of this tree. Adam told his wife, do not eat of this tree. But because Eve wanted a partnership of a marriage, she started listening to other people aside from her husband, Satan, who said,
Is that really what God said? Go ahead, eat it.
now the order is backwards. Satan telling Eve what to do. Eve not only eating of the tree, but telling her husband to eat of the tree too. And guess what Adam did? He submitted to Eve. That is what a partnership looks like, where both submit to each other, both have the same role, the same function. There's no hierarchy. You should not have a partner as a spouse. And for those of you that are like, well, what if he's a trash dude? What if he's not a good leader? Baby, why are you marrying him then? You have a choice. When he pops the question, will you marry me? You can say no. Unless you're one of these females that proposed to him, you already started the marriage off backwards because now you're leading.
Look, I get what she's trying to say. I know. Tell me, what are your thoughts on this idea that marriage is a hierarchy rather than a partnership? Me, I think it's a blend. And let me explain why I say that. One, let's define what is a hierarchy. So in a hierarchy, decision making is formal. It's a formal process and it flows from the top down. You've got God, you've got your husband, you've got yourself as the wife, and you have your children. And you submit to your husband submits to God. Actually, you both submit to God, but he has to answer for his family. And so he reports up into God. Whereas in a partnership, partners, depending on the type of partnership, because again, in business, there are different partnerships. But in a partnership, partners usually consult each other before making significant decisions. And I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, no doubt about it. And matter of fact, let's take a look at scripture because that is where our foundation should be always. And that's where you need to look for your answers. What does God say about this? Now, and I'm going to share with you share my screen real quick cuz I'm all about educate. We got to educate each other. Like you just can't sit here and take people's word. Go and look for yourself. And so, let's check out and no, I don't have these Bible verses memorized. I'm a work in progress. But I definitely know how to look up my word. So first, let's take a look at First Corinthians 11:3. And what does it say? But I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man. I know, ladies, y'all probably didn't want to hear that. That was hard for me to dig in as well. And the head of Christ is God. It's what the Bible says. And this next verse, I know y'all really not gonna feel me on that one. And I think there's a lot of confusion about this particular verse. We don't quite understand it. And a lot of times we misinterpret what it says. And that's Ephesians 5:22, where it says that wives submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do the Lord. I mean, we could dive deep into this, and I've done a podcast on submission and how we as women should submit. But he's just simply saying, you submit to me. I'm just asking you to submit to your husbands in the same manner. We're supposed to have God as our head. The husbands are to be the head of the household. For a lot of you ladies, that is going to be hard to swallow. And I get it. Believe me, I get it. It's not easy, especially when you have been out on your own for a very long time. And now all of a sudden you have someone coming in and who is supposed to be the head of your family. But ladies, this is work that needs to be put in order for you to establish a healthy marriage. Now, how can we balance this concept of hierarchy with mutual respect and partnership in the relationship? Because again, in my I'm telling my age, 15 plus years of marriage, we have done a really good job. And I think my marriage is fairly healthy. We've done a really good job of understanding our roles in this marriage. And we've learned that this is a blend of hierarchy and partnership. And I say partnership because there's different partnerships. And a partnership is basically a business structure where you have two or more people who share the profits and the losses of a business. Now, assuming that your business is your family, you both are sharing with the profits and you both are sharing in the losses. You also contribute money to this business. You contribute property, labor, whatever skill sets you bring to this marriage, whether it be cooking, he cleans, whether it be you manage the finances, he takes care of the car. Like it really truly is a partnership if you dig down deep. But it's not, there's different types of partnerships too. So you've got like your general partnership where you jointly manage and control the business. And I think this young lady, her thought process was, this is not a general partnership where you both are managing and controlling the business, but your partnership is probably should probably more mimic a what we call a limited partnership, and that essentially limits your legal liability of some of the partners for the debts and obligations, because essentially in this business, the husband, the man, has to answer to God for his family. And so, in this limited partnership, the man is legally, God, spiritually, responsible for the family, for the business. And we've got to respect the man's decision, even if we don't agree with it. Now, what I have found out is that most arguments happen because of lack of understanding. And yes, women, men are hard to understand. You also have to understand that most men tend to be strategic leaders. Understanding that will help you as a woman learn to accept, learn to understand the decisions that men tend to make. And a lot of times the decisions they make are unpopular. Yes, it is hard to have someone tell you what the family should do, what the family needs to do, and to make that final call. But you also have to understand that without any hierarchy, there is going to be chaos. You can't, just like they say, you can't have two cooks in one kitchen, complete chaos. You cannot have two heads of the household. It's very difficult. Who has the final say? You both have a final say? What if you don't agree with each other? It's just complete chaos. And understanding that you play a critical role, even though he has the final say, you are there as the support system. My husband comes to me many times to consult with me because I may be an expert in an area that he is not. And so, in order to establish a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, it's important that you understand that hierarchy and that you respect it. Now, going back to her concept of Adam and Eve and how it shapes the perspectives, I just think this is so funny because I always think about why did homegirl have to sit there and listen to the snake? Why couldn't she just listen to her husband, to her partner, her spouse? I mean, did she not have discernment? But it also speaks to women's natural instinct to just do what we want to do. She was like, forget my husband. I don't care what he said. I want this fruit. The snake said I could have it. I don't believe what he has to say. I don't believe it. I can have this. I can have this purse. I don't care what my husband said about our budget. I can buy these heels. How many of y'all said that? I did. Didn't end very well. But it's like we have to be able, and this is so key to have a relationship with God, to be able to just go to Him. Look, man, I want these heels so bad. I recognize that that's just going to put us in more, be a more financial burden. But I really want those heels. I'm going to look so cute in them. It's just important that we understand this hierarchy, to understand that these choices are supposed to be for the betterment of our family, of our marriage. I mean, do you guys think that traditional views of marital roles can support or hinder these modern relationships? We've had many discussions, myself, and on our podcast on Thursday with Jammer, about how modern relationships have really removed themselves from traditional views. I honestly think we've lost our way in many aspects when it comes to the family. And I wholeheartedly believe that some of those traditions we need to bring back. We need to make the family a priority. We're not doing that. We as people are so self centered. We forget what our purpose is. We're supposed to be fruitful and multiply and train up our children, train them up. I think a lot of the traditions that we have left behind really need to come back into these modern relationships. Get back to the basics. The basics. We got to get back to them. And for some of us, this modern relationship stuff has hindered our ability to adapt and survive in this world. I mean, going back to the submission, Ephesians, and again, this is a touchy subject, but do you think that the idea of submission in a marriage is misunderstood, or do people really know what it means to submit? And if it is misunderstood, how? I honestly think that a lot of the misconceptions, there's a lot about submission. And Should you have any questions about submission, put them in the comments section so I can answer them. What are your misconceptions, or what is your understanding of what submission is? I've done thorough research, talked to many couples because I couldn't understand this whole concept of submission. And once I finally did, like, it just changed everything. Go ahead, let me know. What are your thoughts? Do you all submit to your husband? Do you have an issue with it? What's your understanding of submission? Until next time, see y'all later.